Hello everyone, welcome back to this episode of Bitcoin Trade here. And in this episode here, it's going to be a chart analysis. And so if you've been trading over the weekend or you've seen the price action move around over the weekend, a lot has happened. So anyways, welcome to Bitcoin Trade here. See that large spike right there? There's something unusual that happened over portions of Saturday and Sunday over the weekend here, and I was just reading a report that there was this whale on Bitstamp, and let's take a look at Bitstamp. So, and there was a sell order, a limit sell order, and look at that, a 30,000 Bitcoin sell order at 300, and it was on Bitstamp, and you can see that. You can see the sell order, and you can see the buys. So what you got here are just massive amounts of Bitcoin being exchanged. And so there's a lot of speculation in what was going on. That's highly a lot of Bitcoins. That basically means someone on Bitstamp or group or whatever on Bitstamp has 30,000 Bitcoins or 9 million worth of Bitcoins at Bitstamp, which is quite a lot, And man, I was watching, and I saw 200, 300 limit orders being reached. Someone basically put a market order to fulfill those orders, and I saw like several at a time. I mean, it was just crazy. This period right here, it was just crazy. It was just, as it was going down, I mean, it was just, a lot of it was moving up and down. And which my strategy was, if it broke down through, which looked like it was, I did have my orders in, and I was very selective. I had them increase as it was going down. I stopped actually at 200 or at 300 because my next limit buy order was going to be at 200, and if it was really going to go down further, I mean, if it was going to be flash crashing or really tumbling, I had orders all the way down to $7. And what was funny was they were only like at like $500 worth of in value. Basically, I had like maybe $2,000 worth at different intervals, at 100, at 50, at 7, all about $500 worth. And I calculated, like, basically I would have had probably like around 200 Bitcoins if it reached down to $7, but it didn't reach $7, of course. I stopped at 3, and then my next limit order was at 200. Didn't quite reach it, which is fine. Right now the price is at 229.95 here, and this is Bitstamp. I wanted to show you this particular chart analysis on Bitstamp here because of that large limit sell order that somebody had. And based on that analysis, because as this was selling off, and you kind of had to be a witness to it, but as it was being sold here, a lot of people were buying. So that indicates to me that, and apparently at 300, people bought the 30,000 Bitcoins at 300. They broke through it, and so that tells me that 300 is basically the floor. And so it dipped down to 275, and now I think 300 is the floor. And I've heard from various miners and mining pools and groups and such not that for them, $300 per Bitcoin is basically a make or break situation for them. And so that's very, very, very strange. Anyways, let me pause here for a minute. Excuse me. Oh, sorry about that. If you hear that ding, I am trading, and that lets me know that there's a buyer or seller or something like that. So, I'm still trading, and I am buying and selling, both in the physical world and in virtual reality, which is basically the exchanges. So anyways, so based on this analysis here, from what I could tell, whoever put a sell order, apparently I read an article where they put a sell order at 300 to buy back in at 290, making technically a $10 gain. And I guess if you can have 30,000 Bitcoins, your exchange fees or commission fees or whatever, your trading fees would have been around 0.01%. So a $10 gain is not that bad. Of course, why someone would even bother selling at 300 just to buy back in at 290 only for the price to come back up to 330, it doesn't make any sense. But I mean, for me, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, you just lost money in. I guess you did make a gain, a $10 gain, but in order to do that, you had to I guess you did make a gain. I guess it wouldn't be a bad trade, but why even bother if you were going to just buy it back? Especially such a high amount, and the money you would have paid out just for that trade. But anyways, I'm not here to question someone's strategy, but I just want to take a quick look at this analysis. And so basically $300 is the floor, and if that's the case, then I think this is going to be the stand right here at 300, because I've heard miners tell me on several occasions, different mining pools, different miners, large, mostly large, I'm assuming, because I do buy quite a bit, that it becomes and again, this was a couple months ago when Bitcoin was around $700 to $500 in that price range. That basically they're okay as long as it stays at 300, above 300. But as the difficulty increased and the prices have been falling, I would suspect that that's probably increased a little bit more than that. It's probably at the price right now, what you're looking at 330, maybe 350. Maybe they're taking some of them are taking, the smaller mining operations are taking some losses. And I have an interesting experience to share with you. But let me get to the chart analysis first. Anyways, I guess I should hold on. I guess someone's waiting for me to trade here. Hold on, please. All right, sorry about that whole thing. Got to keep always got to keep trading. So, anyways, as I see this, I think there is a floor here. It may even be the floor for miners may be at this current price. that might be a good floor for them. As time goes on, their floor is going to just increase along with the difficulty of maintaining what the price of Bitcoin would be. It wouldn't surprise me that this would be for them a barely making any profit, or if any at all, at these prices here. Well, no, I take that back. They're probably making money. They're probably still making money. They're just not making as much money, and they may even slow down on their reinvestments into future mining rigs. And the problem with that is, of course, these machines are going to be less and less productive if the price is maintained. They're just not going to buy new mining rigs or upgrade or whatnot, and so you may see a slowdown in for mining manufacturing, and so because the demand for mining rigs is going to go down, and so it's just I guess free market. What can I say? But going back to this, I'm looking at this and I'm saying, well, okay, this is a solid. As much of it was a sell-off, a lot of it is also, of course, being bought. So I believe this candlestick represents the floor of where we are, and if it can maintain this pricing level, I think there might be a chance where it'll start at least ranging now, at least going back up and ranging around probably I'm looking at, because I want to say from 400, around 400 to 300, because when I look at this is when the sell-off really started, as it broke down through here, and then it just finally sold off, and sold off over the weekend. And I'm not sure if anything of Russia banning Bitcoin, and it's really taking effect now, has anything to do with it or not. But it could be. It could be, especially if they're going to be fining people, seizing mining rigs, and next thing they'll be arresting people, rounding you up, sending you to labor camps, whatnot. It's kind of scary to think about it, but in some places of the world, that stuff really does happen. Just thinking about things puts you into a labor camp. Just having a belief in something in some parts of the world puts you to death. It's something we don't all think about, but it's out there and it's real. So looking at this on Bitstamp here, this is really a massive amount of Bitcoins that just came through, and it came through over the weekend on top of all that. And so you can't say that you have to think about this. Over the weekend, the way I trade is I usually have I usually use the banks, and I've talked about this in my previous episode of buying and selling. So considering this was over the weekend, you would have to consider the banks were pretty much closed. So that meant that these were people who actually already had Bitcoins to sell, and they already had them on the exchanges, or they already had them somewhere to sell them off. And then also, these were also people who already had money on the exchanges to buy them. So if you consider that, that is quite a bit. That just goes to show. I think that just goes to show like how many people are actually trading. I know 9 million is not a lot compared to like a currency where you got probably 1 billion per day, but we're not talking about leveraged money, 1,000,000 to 1 or 100 to 1 or even 1 to 10. Even on Bitfin, it's only like whatever, two point whatever, which I don't even use a margin trade. So if you consider it, this is 1 to 1. And if you convert that to like a fractional reserve, um, money, that's at least 90 billion, maybe 9 trillion um, dollars in Bitcoin traded over the weekend. I mean, if you really think about that, if you think about the fractional reserve system of the banks and how they calculate how much they could loan out to their reserve, they're leveraged almost 100%, right? And a lot of forex accounts and forex trading, they're leveraged on top of that, 1 to 10, or some of them 1 to 100. And so this $1 trillion in volume that you hear about currencies and everything, I believe that's all fake. So to have real money, 1 for 1, $1 buys you $1 of Bitcoin, 1 for 1. Either you have the money or you don't. Either you have the Bitcoins or you don't. If you convert this or think about this in a fractional reserve conversion, it wouldn't surprise me that a couple $1 trillion worth was traded over the weekend. Okay, so to see that much selling and at the same time that much buying to keep the price above 300, that's pretty impressive. So I think 300 is a pretty good floor, because I had limit orders from 350, and I spread them out, like I've explained before about average cost, as it goes down. So I had them spread out, and I stopped at 300, and then my next limit was at 2, then at 100, then at 50, then at 7, just in case. I was like, for me, spending like a couple $1,000s to buy a lot of Bitcoin and just sitting on them, because a couple $1,000s, I've probably already made a gain in a couple $1,000s. As a matter of fact, as I think about this, I think about how many, put it this way, I have more than what I started with in value. I have more than when I started. So let's example, if I started with 1,000 and I have 1,500, well, you made a gain. Your initial investment was 1,000, and you have 1,500. Well, 500 of it is gain. If I took 500 and I bought at, if I bought whatever, all I could buy at 300, I might just sit on that. I might not even worry about that. I'll just sit on that and say, hey, you know what? That is for me, and I have a family, so that's for me and my family for the very long, very, very long-term future. And if the predictions are true, and I guess it depends on whose prediction you're talking about, but I'm talking about people who are predicting 1 Bitcoin to be 1,000, 1 Bitcoin to go up to 10,000, 1 Bitcoin going up to 100,000, a million, a billion. I'm telling people infinity. In other words, it's worth so much that no one would sell you a Bitcoin, because I really believe this, that you're gonna need it, and you're gonna need it because it's gonna save your life. You won't perish away. You'll be saved. And so, of course, that's just my opinion. I mean, if y'all been watching my videos, I'm sure some of you find this amusing, some of you find it very helpful, some of you think I'm just straight out crazy. And I have to tell you, I I'm being attacked every day. Every day I am being attacked. If it's not some hacker, or if it's not the banks, if it's not the financial institution, if it's not I would have to say some degree law enforcement. Um, I'm being attacked every day, but I'm gonna stand my ground, and I'm never gonna surrender. I'm never gonna give up. And the more resistance I come into, the more I'm gonna push. Just like what happened here. The wall was a resistance, obviously. The 30,000 bitcoins was a resistance, and I have to say I'm amazed that there was enough people who basically never want to surrender and never want to give up, was able to push through it. That's pretty impressive. And I have to say, just that fact alone, from what I've seen right here, that's pretty resilient. Bitcoin is not going to go away anytime soon. Not at all, in my opinion. So that's the price analysis I have. You probably want to know where it's going to go from now. Well, if 300 is the floor and it's already hit the floor, it may. I'm looking at it right now, and I'm seeing that it's hitting up against this average right here, and it's just hitting up against it. But it's a strong. This right now, it's a strong bar, and if it managed to push through that, it's probably going to hit up against this as being the next resistance. But considering how drastic everything's falling and the strong buying here, there may be a good chance that it can actually hit this and then maintain a sideways, maybe even go down. I think it's going to range between 300 to 400 for a while before if it goes up or down. I don't think it's going to go down anymore below this 300. Just the fact of what happened here, that there was a wall of 30,000 bitcoins, and it broke through. And so I'll look at some other chart analysis. Bitstamp is probably the indicator here that's going to tell you. And if you were trading on Bitstamp, you probably would have noticed what I've noticed was during that time, Bitstamp was the lowest in price. Even Bitsy was higher. And if you bought at Bitstamp at the lower price, you're already ahead of the game. You can see the price difference here, as the Chinese exchange is almost $10, $8, $7, $5. So you're seeing Bitfin and Bitstamp being par at price. Bitsy and these guys, they're not that far in price, only $3, which is not a big difference. I'm not sure what's going on in China, but looks like they're not worried right now at all. If anything, China, the Chinese exchange, well, at least this one I've noticed, did not fall as far as some of the US dollar exchanges. And so I think they know something. I have a feeling they know something that we may not know. So anyways, there you go on the prices. Usually when I see something like this, as it gets paired up or very close to all these, usually downturn, but considering what happened, I think this represents a turnaround, at least an early indication of a turnaround in the way the price actions have been going. So take it for what it is. That's just my opinion. And so there you go. And so let's take a look at some of the other charts here real quick and see what I can see. But that's Bitstamp, and then here's BitC, and you can see that this flash crash kind of represents the bottom or the support for this. So each chart tells me something a little different. See right about there, which was at 308. So Seems like 300 was a support. If you look at some of these charts here, and you see it's maintaining support. And then let's take a quick look at Bitfin, and we'll also look at Chinese exchange real quick. So there's the Chinese, or I'm sorry, this is Bitfin. Sorry about that, jeez. There we go. And so 275. You see the large volume in trade just on that one day. Most of it was selling before it went up. But the fact that it sold off most and then recovered tells me that right here is a very strong support. And if people are going to buy that much Bitcoins to recover from this fall in price, there's a very strong support here where I don't think people are going to be selling, because they've already bought here and they probably feel very comfortable at this price. They probably feel this is the bottom price right here. If you just look at this, look at that large amount of volume compared to these, and you thought these were pretty high, it's nothing, you know. So that's what I'm seeing. That's the indication that I'm getting out of this. And then we'll just go to the Chinese exchange, just take a look here, see what they're doing, and then different kind of volume analysis here. You'll see it gradually starting to sell off, and of course the peak of the sell-off was right here, and even then this body is a little different than the other exchanges. It's really represent for them 2000 is probably right around here. 2000 it's probably their support line, and you can see how it just gradually increased, and it's kind of gone down, and even then look at how much there is, and you look at what's been happening as the price goes down. There's something going on right here at this price range. There's something going on. You know, I noticed when you see a lot of activity at a certain point in time, there is something going on more than just price action here. There's I often feel like in a crowd reaction, in a crowd consensus, in a crowd and wisdom, that the general populace and consensus, that it often coincides or even I don't know if it's coincidence, timing. It's kind of weird, but I almost feel like there's something going to happen. There's some event non-related to Bitcoin or anything like that that's going to happen or is happening right now. We just don't know about it. So when you see these price actions, you know, I really get worried, not for the price or for Bitcoin or anything like that. I get worried because I feel like there's some force or event that's going to happen, and so I'm kind of getting a little paranoid. Not paranoid, but you know, I'm starting to look around, and I'm trying to see if there is something happening here that is not obvious right now, but will be obvious. So it could be anything. I mean, it could be good news, bad news, whatever. But I would anticipate for people to brace yourself, because I think something may be going on that we don't know about, and the news has not hit, and so we're going to find out what that is. So anyways, feel free to like, dislike, even leave a comment or do a video response. Until next time, stay tuned. Bye.